It is understood that Mongolia owes China a huge foreign debt. Due to Mongolia's continuous investment in economic development in recent years, it has been unable to repay this debt in the short term. To this end, Mongolia has decided to repay $67 million in interest every quarter. However, the economic downturn in recent years has put Mongolia in trouble. To solve this problem, Mongolia plans to use 20 million tons of coal to pay off debts. Surprisingly, China decisively rejected this request. As we all know, China is one of the largest coal-consuming countries in the world. On the face of it, Mongolia's decision appears to be in China's interests, as China has always had a huge appetite for coal. Therefore, we are very curious why China rejected Mongolia's request. Welcome to World Hotspot, where you will be able to learn about projects, cooperation around the world and important information about China. I hope you can subscribe to me. Let us discover more interesting things around the world together. It is understood that Mongolia has many mineral resources that China needs. Moreover, as a typical resource exporter, the cooperation between Mongolia and China, a huge resource consumer, will be beneficial to both parties. Data show that in the first 11 months of 2022, Mongolia exported 100% of lead ore, iron ore, copper concentrate, crude oil, etc., and 92% of coal to China. However, Mongolia's GDP is still less than that of a Chinese province. As of 2022, Mongolia's external debt will account for 60% of GDP. As of March 2023, its total external debt will be $3.4 billion, of which $1.7 billion is a loan owed to China. This situation stems from the bilateral local currency swap agreement signed by the Central Bank of Mongolia and China in 2017. According to the agreement, under certain conditions, either party can exchange a certain amount of local currency for the equivalent currency of the other party. Since Mongolia's loan to China carries interest, it needs to pay $67 million in interest every quarter. Converted into the Mongolian currency tugrik, this is equivalent to 5 trillion. However, the total budget expenditure of Mongolia is only 20 trillion tugrik this year, and it is impossible to repay the debt at one time. Therefore, Mongolia can only negotiate with China, apply for an extension of repayment, and propose a plan to repay the debt with 20 million tons of coal. To people's surprise, China resolutely rejected this request. As we all know, China is a big coal consumer. For example, in the first half of 2022, China's coal imports will reach 114 million tons. It can be seen that China is fully capable of digesting the debt-paid coal provided by Mongolia. But China still rejected Mongolia's request. What is going on? It is understood that in the first half of 2022, China imported about 79.94 million tons of coal to Mongolia. However, in February, due to Mongolia's own reasons, they unilaterally terminated the coal sales agreement signed with China and settled at the adjusted border price, resulting in a price increase of $3 to $5 per ton than the original price, which means that China has to pay more than $300 million, which has brought huge economic losses to China. This kind of dishonest behavior is something that China can no longer tolerate. Moreover, based on Mongolia's adjusted coal prices, its price is even comparable to that of coal shipped all the way from Australia and Indonesia. Mongolia's coal has lost its price advantage, and its quality is not particularly outstanding. In addition, China's southeast coastal cities are closer to Indonesia and Australia, and it is more cost-effective to import coal from these places. On the other hand, the cost of transporting and handling coal is also a key consideration in the decision. Shipping large quantities of coal to China is resource-intensive and costly, and processing and selling it in China also requires additional investment. If these costs are too high, the debt foreclosure program will not work as intended. It is worth mentioning that laws and contract terms are also one of the reasons for China's refusal. The debt and contract terms between China and Mongolia should be reasonable and legal, and the coal debt repayment plan may not fully comply with the contract requirements or violate the previous commitments of the two parties. More importantly, China also needs to consider risks and uncertainties. In recent years, the coal market has been affected by global political and economic factors, and the price may fluctuate greatly. If there is a high risk in the coal debt repayment plan, China will bear possible losses, so it has no choice but to reject Mongolia's request. Although China has rejected Mongolia's coal debt repayment, Mongolia can still repay China's debt by strengthening economic development and reforms to improve its repayment capacity. Dear friends, this video is over here. What do you think of Mongolia's approach? Do you think China is doing the right thing? Welcome to leave a message in the comment area to share your thoughts and feelings. If you like the content of this issue, please recommend him to your friends so that more people can see this video. Thank you for watching and supporting. See you next time.